Hi, Uli here. For me, one of the useful app I'm using with AutoHotkey is a pop-up menu. Let me demonstrate here. With a right click I can open it. I can add easily my email address, what you use for signing up in some website and so on, some text snippets. You could basically put in a password here, but I would not recommend it as it's saved in plain text. Then browser favorites, email template, date and time. For example, I add here a date chooser where I just can quickly go back and forwards here and then add the date. As well, open notebooks from OneNote, contacts, some apps. Here I have only Notepad, but you can put plenty here. Then here in the settings, I set up the path to my pop-up menu with VS Code. As well, I have the Windows Spy, what sometimes comes in handy. This app is installed from AutoHotkey. And I can reload straight from here. And this is simply to close the pop-up menu. As I'm not recording my tray bar, this is actually how the icon would look like when we set it up. We have as well tray icon tip. So when you hover over the icon, then the tray tab coming up. We have a right click action where we exit the app, reload the app again, and then just some copyright information. This is the standard app icon when you just not specified an icon, what comes from AutoHotkey. And here is the standard right click action, the menus. So we removed all of those and add our own. I prepared the starter package on GitHub, link in the description, where we have we have here a README file with all the useful links I found at the AutoHotkey docs. We have here the main docs. By the way, when you search some stuff in the internet, probably will find the version 1. So here you can easily quick switch between version 1 and version 2. So when you come up in some subfolders, whatever, you're on version 1, then you just click on here and go to version 2, and it will probably guide you in the right spot. So let's go quickly here. I add the requirements, single instance and so on. I will explain when we're using it. As well then the tray menu, then some example for the menus, the GUI stuff, and so on. Then the DLL call from Windows API and actually what we're using, the link for it. So if you want to know more about it. As well the shortcuts I'm regularly using with VS Code. And then the extension I installed. Here I'm using the AutoHotkey version 2 language support. I figured that the one is recommended even on the documentation, not work properly for me, so I use this one. Then I have here a create file and folder, so it's same like in the Atom style, but I show you that later. As well, I like sometimes just easily to reload VS Code, have the camel case navigation, and then this is the extended markdown preview. So, and here is all the, from the extension I set up, like I can toggle the camel case, sometimes it's annoying. Then I have, this is my shortcut for reload VS Code, and then how to create a new file, and for example, Control-Alt-N. You can see now I can just use in the normal file path how I create my files. Here's all the assets. Here we will later add all the controller, and here the menus. Here we have all the icons, what I prepared already in a neat path. So we can just ask for an icon with icon, no, this is all the paths. Here the icon Adobe Acrobat, some apps icon and so on. If you go whatever here is just like the Edge icon when you want to easily open Edge. And I add that everyone to the init here, where I first get all my icons and later on I put all the other stuff here. So let's start coding. First we create a file, so with Control-Alt-N, and I want to add the first one in the root, so I don't have to go to any subpath. So I call it PopUpMenu.ahk. You always have to add the extension. So that's the basic one. Here first I want to add the requires, and here I go with version 2. Then of course I want to have only a single instance. We can omit the force here, and as well I want to include my assets. the init. So now I want to set up my tray icon. The way I'm doing it, I use the pre-built in variables. Let me show you what I mean. When you go here, and here we have the pre-built variables. Let's get on this link here. So here we get all the information. What are pre-built variables? They usually start with a and an underscore, and then we have here like the list of the pre-built variables like script properties, path, and so on. And we have already here some date and time. And the script settings, here we should find somewhere the tray menu, and that's actually what we're using. What is basically menu object, where we here can later the delete function to delete the default icons. So let's go back. And to use this easily, I added to a variable tray menu. And the way it works in AutoHotkey, you use a colon and equal sign to assign something to a variable. Now I want to set up a tray icon, and that comes with tray set an icon. And here we just add the icon tray, and then I call it icon here as well. So when we try to run that one now with F5, and that's the way how I set it up, nothing happened. Because we run the script have nothing to wait for and is just closing. So when we add the word persist and running that again, let me show you how it would look like then. You should have in your tray bar that kind of icon here. So let me add all the other stuff here on the top. So here we can now add the icon tip with an underscore. Here we have the icon tip. And you have like Oli's Dev Corner, pop-up menu, and just a copyright. Of course, you can delete that and do your own copyright or don't have it at all, whatever you want. So when you actually hover over the icon, or you not hover, you right click, let me show you. You should see all this stuff here. I want to delete it. So what we have to do is using our variable tray and then just the word delete. So when we run that again with F5 and you right click on the menu, you see nothing. So now let's add our own menus, and that we do as well with the tray variable, and here we add. So here I want to add Oli's Dev Corner. And when I want to click on it, I want to show a message box, and I call that copyright info. So here you see the yellow underline. That means that this function is nowhere specified. Let me add first the icon. So with Shift Alt and 1 down, I copy that down. Here I want to add the icon copyright, and then I go to the begin. And here I have to set the icon. I have to use the same name because AutoHotkey, the menu object, want to know where I have to set this icon, and when it finds this one, then it sets the icon to this tray menu. So then I want just a vertical line there, and this I can do, I just set add. So let's get the copyright information here, how we can do that one. So I like to add all my general purpose function in one file, and usually I call that MISC. So let's add that with Control Alt and N. We're jumping now here to the assets. And then I have this folder CNTRL, and here I want to add a mist.ahk. And here I set the function copyright info, open a message box, and have just like a copyright and then the link to my YouTube channel. And then of course I have to add that one here to the controller. Here the hashtag and then include. So with Control Space, I go here to the control folder and then add the MISC here. So if I go back with Control Tab, I can move here to the pop-up menu. I still see that it is underlined, but when I'm in there and hit F12, I go to the definition. So that's working, but the problem is I created first my function, and then of course I have to tell AutoHotkey that it exists. And the next problem is then it still don't know because this file have to update. And the only thing what I've figured out so far is when I reload it, and now that's gone. But when I create first all my function before I call them, then I don't have this error. So when I hit F5 now, and then click right on the pop-up menu and open the Uli Dev Corner, then I get here the pop-up message. So, but as you could see, it's still everything in light mode. We add the dark mode soon. So let's add the other menu stuff. Again, tray here, dot add. Here we have reload. And now we add an internal arrow function here, open parentheses and the asterisk, then equal angle bracket, and using the function reload, then with Shift Alt arrow down, we can copy that, remove that one and add the icon reload up, I call it, and set here the icon. And the last one is tray add exit app, so it's like exit, comma, here the arrow function and then exit app, as well then the icon. And this one called icon exit. So let's hit F5 to check it out. Now we have 3 of those and we can just exit the app. So now let's set up then the light and dark mode. So here I will create another function, what I will put here in the MISC file. And that's like symbols function where I'm using some handler from a DLL call and so on from Windows 32 API. And the only thing what I have to do now, set it up here, the name, and the default would be then dark as I go here with the color mode 2. And now when I hit F5 and click right here on my icon, then I see everything in dark. Now I want to set up my first menu entry, and here I use the PopUpMenu variable, colon equals to the menu object, and here I set that up my pop-up menu, and I have here add. Basically it works the same like before. So and here I use 3 asterisks and I call it quick access menu, quick access menu. So then a comma, and if I set here now up the handler menu function, then I have to reload my app again. So let's add that first here. Handler main menu. So handler main menu, Shift Alt and then down. Here I have my icon menu and I want to have it in 24 pixels. Go to the begin. And then I set the icon. So when we run that one now, we get an error. So let's see what is the error about. It says me invalid callback function. So invalid, first you could check if the name is correct. Looks like, because when I highlight this one, I get highlighted here as well. But the main problem is like pretty sure the asterisk. So let me add that one. And now it works. What we did not set up is the show option. So let me quickly add that one. And now hit F5 again, and now we see here the quick app. Even we click on it, nothing will happen as we did not set up anything in the handler. So but what I want to do here, I want to have another copy of that one, remove basically everything from here and then add here disabled, and now it looks like that. So now I want to add again just a vertical line. And then a menu for my email address, and here I call it my-email at some-domain.com. Here I have to call my handler menu. With Shift Alt I do another copy, remove that one, and add here an icon, the email address with 24 pixels, and as well then another add. So see that one, too many parameters. So let me see what is that. Yeah, of course, because we forgot here to set an icon. So now we have this icon here for the email address, but here we can click now, nothing will happen. So now the magic happened here in the handler menu. First, when we go here to the documentation, we can see here in the menu that we have like in the callback from the menu, we have item name, item position and my menu. The item name is like the item name of the menu, what is basically that one here. Then we have the position, so that's when we run that again from here. That's like position 1, position 2. I'm not really sure if it wirklich position 1, 2 should be, but when this is disabled, I don't know if it's counting and so on. We can actually basically test that if we want. And then we have the object of the menu as well. So let's go in here and using only the item name and then a comma. And here we set up simple switch, and our switch statement is here then the item name. And the case should be my email address, the name of my item, and then the action what I want to do. And here I want to just simply send my email address. This one we don't need, so with Shift Control NK we can delete this whole line. So with F5 now, so let me put the mouse here somewhere and then hit again F5, and now it puts my email address here. So that is working. What I don't like so far is that we have now everything in one file. So basically I want to get that one here out and put it in a new file. So let me cut that one with Control X. Before we call here a function, let's create one with Control Alt and N. We're going here to Assets, and I want to add it in the menu and another slash. And here I call it MainMenu. .ahk. In here I can start my function, open curly brace. Let's add that from the clipboard and close that one here and remove that one with Shift Control and K. We call that later, and then with Shift K and F we can reformat that. Of course we get now all the trouble here because we have to import it here one first. Let's add that here, and that's then the menu and the main one. And as you probably know, even we go back to our main menu, we have to reload, and I usually go from the main, like the pop-up, and then Control Shift Alt and R. It's my reload. Let's check that out. Now it's working fine. Going back to the pop-up, and here we have to add now the function called main menu, and then with F5 nothing happened because now we have to add the show function. And here it is. Okay, let's remove the show function because we don't need it here. And we don't need the persist anymore, as we will add now the shortcuts. So the way I like to call this menu is 3 ways. First is Alt M, then Control right mouse click and the middle mouse click. I using 3 options here because for me I like to have more than one. Then the Control right mouse click, not working with all the apps, and sometimes it's just easier to use the middle mouse. But if you don't have a middle mouse, I just set up the other ones as well. So let's add the comment here and we call it show the menu. Here we're using then Alt plus M. So with the exclamation mark and M, exclamation is for the Alt key, then two colons, pop-up menu dot show. Then we have the Control plus right mouse click. What is simply Control is the caret sign and then R button. And here as well then the pop-up menu. And here I don't get any IntelliSense anymore, so let me reload VS Code. And now I get it again. And this is basically coming from the extension. But as I mentioned, I tried a few of them for a while and this one works best for me. And here we have the middle mouse click, what is basically the M button. So with F5 now, nothing happened. When we click the middle one, is showing up. When we click the Control right, is showing up. And then Alt M is showing up as well. So let's begin now the submenus. And I like first to add the settings, because here I usually can reload the menu from any file I am at. Usually I can only reload the file now from here. If I'm here on the main menu and I want to reload, then it's reloading only this one, but not what is actually my main file. So let's close that one. We don't need that one anymore. And before I add here the menu, let's add the file included in the init and so on. So Control Alt N here in Assets, Menu, and I will call it Submenu Setting. So what I can do now is basically I highlight it with Control Shift and the left arrow and copy it, and then .ahk, and now I paste it, add here my curly braces, then handler, add that again. So now I set it up already. Now we're jumping to the init, and here with Shift Alt and down arrow, remove that one. So now I can go to my pop-up and add it here as well. Add here then the submenu. And before I forget, I want to have like the closing button here, because now it's actually going away, but when soon I have my submenus, it will stay open. So that's why I have here a pop-up menu add for close the menu with the icon. Now it's that one. So let me split that one open. To create submenu in my menu, what I already have, like I want to here now have after my email, I want to have a submenu. So what I have to do is I have to create first my submenu. Submenu setting, and here I will add the menu object. So I have to put that menu somewhere, and I want to put that menu in my main menu. So pop-up menu, and here I add setting. So now my function, my callback is basically my submenu setting. And then set an icon. Here I have a settings, 24 pixels, nothing new here. Set the icon. So now we have to go back to the pop-up and F5. Let's try that one, and now we have here the settings where is nothing inside, but so far so good. Going back here, and now I want to add all the other stuff. All the other stuff I have to set now to the submenu, and with the help of a little bit magic here, I just pasting it in here. So where I have here my submenu, I have edit, Windows by and edit, I have here the handler submenu function, what I will add here. And basically is nothing new. We're still using switch for the item. We still have here our item name. And the only thing what I have here, I have case edit, what is here for my menu. And then I open here the terminal in a hidden state, what I can do here. And as you know, that's like the built internal variables. And then I go to my folder where is my pop-up menu. I jump in there, and then I open code in the directory where I just move here with change directory. That's it. If you installed AutoHotkey in the default folder, then you can use this path. If not, then you have to just look where is your Windows by, and then you have to adjust that one here. So back to here, now F5 again. And now I have here my settings, so let's try with reload that one. That seems to work. So, and the point here is for me when, let's see, now it looks like that. And I reload. And now you see the separation is gone. And that's my goal about running it from here with reload. It's for me easier. Okay, let's close that one and add the other ones. So here I make some space because that should be my last option. The next one is then the submenu text snippet. So with Control, Alt and N. Assets, menu, submenu, text snippet. And then I copy that first before I add the extension. It's in the correct directory. Now I add that stuff. And then the handler. Now I have to add it in the init. Here I only have to make a copy, remove those ones, add my snippet, go to the pop-up here and add it here. Now go to the snippets. Let me add that quickly and I explain. But basically here's nothing new. What I have here, my text snippet submenu, then my pop-up where I put my text snippet sub, and then I have the text snippet. And don't forget the line you have to add to the pop-up menu here. So now I can, to test it out, reload, and here it is. And when I have my mouse here and click here on Submit, I get this what is in here, and that's how it works. So you always have like the item name, what you want to do, and here you specified what you want to do. In this case, send, run, or whatever. You can even, what we will do later, open a GUI. So let's close that one and go to the next one. So let's first add the file. assets, menu. So the next one would be then the browser favorite. Then copy .ahk, put that in here. Then the handler. Now moving to my init, add that one here. Now to the pop-up, add that one here. And now it's time to add our content. And here nothing new, except that I run now this website and then your default browser should be open with google.com. Let's try that. Reload. And here's then the Google website. So let's close that one. So let's add the Submenu email template with Control Alt and N. Assets, menu, Submenu, email template. Copying that one, .ahk. Put that in there. Then the handler. Now to the init. Copying the last one. Removing that one. Here we have the email. Going to the pop-up, adding then our stuff from the clipboard. Now the email template. And here again run because we open a file. Basically actually open a template. You can if you want, but for me I just have an email template and then I go with on the properties and have it only as read only so that I'm not overriding it while I'm adding some stuff there. So let's try that out. And here is my email template. Let's close that one. So now let's add the date and time. Control Alt and N. Assets, menu, submenu, date and time. Copying that one. Add that one here. Then the handler. If you maybe remember, we opened actually a new file with GUI. We can put it here in the same file, but I always like to have dedicated files for all my function, except like I have like a small one like the MISC one. So let's create that one first. We will put it in assets. And then we want to create a new folder, so we call it GUI. And the file name is GUI date chooser. So let's copy that one and let's add the function here. So now back to the init and here first let's copy that one. That should be that file, and here on the left side you see now we have control, GUI, icons and menu. So I want to put it here. Basically I go with the alphabetical where I input it, or it's important that I need it somewhere else, then I'm going from top to bottom where I need my functions. So here we want to add all the GUI stuff. Now we including it. So back to the pop-up first. And here we will add then the submenu date and time. And as we add already everything, we get as well code completions. So now we're going to the submenu with Control Tab. Here we have basically nothing new. If you want to use an ampersand as a sign, then you have to use a double ampersand. So let me reload that one. Then you can see I can use this ampersand here. Here's nothing new, only here we are calling then this function, or we send a date format with today and then we formatting it in this way. And if I go in here to the preview again, let's see, we have here the time format, clicking on that one. And here we have all the case sensitive stuff you can use for the day, with 0, then the name like Monday like that, and so on. And that's actually what I simply did here in the code. Let's now how to do the GUI in AutoHotkey. So GUI is actually quite simple and straightforward how to use it. So as I use a function here, I have to call us first here because I do everything first from this file. So what we want to do is get here a name. The name I choose is like the date chooser GUI. And in this variable, I add the GUI object. And here I can add some stuff from the GUI, how I want to call it. So let's see. We have here the GUI call with the option, the title, and some events. So when I'm here and click here on the GUI options, then I have here always on top, border, caption, and so on, honor state. So here is like, for example, plus honor. You can omit the plus. Interesting is if you don't want to use it, then you have to use the minus. What we do here, for example, the sysmenu, minus sysmenu to omit the system menu and icon in the Windows upper left corner. So that's like what you usually have here, the icon stuff here and so on. So what I basically choose is the always on top, the owner, the tool window, and minus the sysmenu. So I don't want to have any title, so I just add some empty quotes. As we want to use it properly in the dark mode, or I want to use it in the dark mode, I add as well a background color. And the one I choose is 0x1E2027. Then I want to add some font. Set the font, and here I'm using default font family, but I want to add like a size of 18, then a color of white, and the color you start with a C, and the font weight of 1000, and as well in the quality 5. Now let's add some text, and that's the same like a menu. We have a text here. And here we specified the object what we want, it's text. You can choose as well other option. And here I want to add it in center, my text. Then from the y-axis I want to -2. Here is the W for the width, 417. And my text I want to add here is choose a date. And now what I have to do is show my GUI. So now I stay here and hit F5, and that's actually my GUI object here. So now it's getting black and I have nothing to close because I did that one here with my system icons. And here it's coming the single instance as we have it in the main app. I'm not bothering to add it here, or maybe later when it's getting too much annoyed here. So now I have here this one what I omit, so where I can close that one here. But we leave it for now. To get actually the title bar black too, what we have to do before we showing it, we have to call Windows API from the Win32 API. And here's a DLL call with this one. So let me run that one. So now everything it's like darkish here. Here it's even darker than this one. The next thing what I want to add is the month calendar. And here I can use add as well. And the object we're calling is the month cal. And in the next options we specify a variable, and the variable start with the letter V, and then we just choose date. That's actually what I call my variable. As well we can add here a width for 55 and then get some more spacing from the left side with Y plus 20. And now we add the date. Let's add now here, and that's how it looks like. So now we have 24 March and we get actually selected the 24 March. So before we add actually the buttons, and I want to use an image what I basically have here in the buttons. That's for example for the cancellation. You can use own buttons, but I don't like them how they look like, so I use my own. And in order that I can use the buttons, I have to import them here. Later I can remove that because we're using actually via our pop-up menu import, but as we're here testing. And the next thing what I want to add is actually, let me run that again when I click here right. I don't have here the dark mode. So let me import here the dark mode. We're including So now we have to go one up, this one, and basically can call that here. And now when we right clicking here, it's everything in dark. So let's add the button, what is basically a picture. Here I want to have a width of 80, then a height of -1, that's meaning keeping the proportion. Then x plus minus 80 is like the calculation is I add in the next row and then I'm moving it 80 pixels to the left. And we have here a y of plus 20. Now I can here add the icon. This one is basically all the same. Here we have x23 because I want to have the cancel button on the left side. And basically that's everything, it's trial and error here. The picture have no call stuff. This value of GUI has no method named call. So we forgot to add this one. And as you're copying it, and that's the downside a little bit on copy and pasting, you're copying as well your mistakes. And now it works. Here we have the cancel stuff. And the button, of course, does nothing because we haven't specified a handler. And as you know, before we add some functionality, we have to add the handler, and we can add the handler after the show method. And here, basically, I add handler date. Oh, come on. And what we're doing here, we have a field value. And in this field value, we are adding from our date chooser. When we submit it, we're adding all the stuff here. And then we send the date, or we can even first get the message box. And now let's format the date, which is format time. And here we have the field value. And then we can see what is in there. What should be actually the choose date. And then here a date format. And what I want to have here is, let's see, 3 times y, then 2 times m, and then 2 times d. So let's go here, and here we are calling the event on event. So what event we want? We want a click event. So they're like different kind of events, double click and so on. And what we do here is we are calling the handler date, and then let's add a cancel event on event as well, a click. And here I can do this with an error function again. I have my date chooser GUI and I simply destroy it. So that should be fine. So let's click cancel, it works. And then okay, we are get here our date. So, but this is not really practicable. So first of all, I wanna getting rid of that I can close it by myself because I have a button now. Second, I wanna add some stuff here. And first one, I wanna add plus date. And here I give a default value of 0. So basically nothing. And then my date format. Now I have format which is the same like before. And what I can do now, I can use that one, add that in here. So I have, when I call my function, I can specify this by myself. And here I can use another function. Basically when I call my monthly, what I have here on now, let's remove that. And here I add date add function. So what I do, I have then as well now. And then I have here my variable, the plus date. And now what I want to add is just days. So as I have here my default values, when I run that, I have everything like before. And when I add here, for example, 180, now we're in September. And now let's add the other format, like, yeah, let's add the date slash the month slash, and let's get a little bit fancy here. Like that. Let's see how that looks like. Now we have it like in this way, 20 September 24. So as we can see, this everything works now fine. We can basically remove that one here. Remove that one. Get rid of this one. We leave the message box for now. We are reloading the app. Should we work everything like before? running that one. Now we have this one. So only what we need to do now is add this one to send. Reload the app again. So it's working perfectly. So let's close that one. Let's close that one and moving on to the next one. So I guess you understand now how it works basically. So that's why I add here the three last one off screen. So what is basically the notebook where we have like all this option, and here I run a notebook. If you want to know in OneNote, you can run on any notebook with the right click and then get the path. Don't forget to put it here in the init. The next one is then the contact. Not sure if you need it or just like put another email in there or name or whatever you need. Here as well, then you have to run it here, and don't forget to add it here as well. And the last one is then the open app. I think that's one most usable. The contacts maybe not so. Then you have to add it in the init and as well then calling it here. So that's basically all for me. I hope you liked it. I hope you can actually use this app here in your workflow. I see you in the next one. Please consider to subscribe. Hit the like icon and share my video. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and watch my other videos.